Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talking About PlayStation Generations, PS1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. For this, I could only think of one person to join me, someone with more PlayStation knowledge than 99.9% of people in the world, Lucy Reed, also known as LudiXP.
Hello. 99.9% is a lot of people, by the way. That's like the entire planet. Oh, I guess
Yeah.
that's what you meant.
Yeah.
I am. Light bulb. Well, thank you for having me on. I'm very excited to talk about PlayStation because it's something I love deeply.
Mm-hmm.
More than life itself.
Don't we all? Okay, I have some stats and figures about the consoles and the games. We're going to start with PlayStation, the very first one, released in 1994 in Japan, 95 in North America, Europe and worldwide. 102 million consoles sold. Yeah, that's a fuckload.
Yeah.
Lucy, what do you think?
Yes.
I have the top 5 best-selling games. And number 6 because I couldn't believe it, but you'll get a kick out of it. What do you think's the best-selling game on the original PlayStation?
This is tough because you'll find out soon that I probably haven't played many of the top games on PlayStation because I didn't know what they were. But I'm going to just take an educated guess on Metal Gear Solid's got to be there somewhere. Metal Gear Solid.
It's not part of the top. No.
Wow. Final Fantasy 7?
Is the second best-selling game on the original play. Good guess.
These are the ones that I'm thinking like when I started to hear about knowledge. So that's when I was like, oh, okay. What else was a big deal? It's got to be Crash Bandicoot. It's got to be there somewhere. I'm going to say Crash Bandicoot. What are people doing? What were they doing in 1990 whatever? I'll
want a
take
hint?
one more. I'll take one more thinking guess, and then I will take a hint. Well, now that I'm stalling, maybe I should. Tomb Raider. Come on, that's got to be there. All right, hint me.
How do I put it?
It's like a riddle.
It's a game series that still exists to this day. It is a big showcase series for every PlayStation console, even though the majority of people have no interest in it.
Wow. The majority of people have no interest in it, but it's still going?
It's still going. It is one of the showpieces every console generation for what the console can do.
Oh.
Showing off. It focuses on realism.
I have no idea. You're gonna have to tell me.
If I tell you the
I'm gonna
genre,
kick
that might
myself.
be a giveaway.
All right. Well, it's like a platform or something, isn't it?
It's a racing game.
Oh, Gran Turismo. What is that, number 1?
Yeah, 10.85.
No.
Final Fantasy 7 is 10.02 million. At number 3 is Gran Turismo 2 with 9.3 million. At number 4 is Final Fantasy 8 with 8.6 million. Tekken 3 is the number 5 with 8.3. And with 8 million copies sold, the 6th best-selling game of the original PlayStation is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
No way! Oh, I'm so proud of it for some unknown reason, but I have nothing to do with it. Yay!
That is the holy grail of licensed video games.
It must be to do with the time frame because it was all the people that were like our age that were watching Harry Potter. We had a PlayStation. It was like doo, doo, doo,
Yeah.
and it happened like Harry when he gets his wand at the shop. It was like
Yeah, I still remember Harry Potter back in the. It was one of those moments where everybody paid attention.
Oh yeah, it was big.
Okay, did you have the original PlayStation back in the day?
I did indeed.
What are some of your fondest memories of it?
Well, the only reason I got a PlayStation is because I was walking to school with some other people from school, and they just were like, I had a Sega, and one of them was like, oh yeah, there's this PlayStation, it's pretty good, and I was like, sold. That was literally it. I was like, Dad, I want a PlayStation. But I didn't get one until quite late. So my original memories are playing... Oh, I got one on my birthday. That was what it was. And I got A Bug's Life because I was all about those movie tie-ins as a kid. That's literally on my whole collection. It's very... Like, if I ever get them all out, if I can find them, it's just movie tie-ins, stupid cartoon games. So I had A Bug's Life, and I was getting really angry at the tutorial because I couldn't do it. And my dad and my mum almost took the PlayStation away from me because I was getting so annoyed because I couldn't beat it. And I was like, no, I can't do it. And I was just like, and that was the beginning of how this all happened. So that's my main memory is that. Crash Bandicoot, obviously, that was one of my favourite games to play all the time. I used to play a lot of like the Harry Potter games. A lot of just rubbish that I didn't really know.
Wasn't it a great period of life where we didn't know about review scores? We didn't know about magazines or a good game from a bad game. It was you'd pick up. I played that Bugs Life game as well. I didn't know it was bad. I just play it. So many. Like, I almost missed the times of not knowing if a game, judging a game purely on its box, and then either being surprised or disappointed afterwards. I missed that.
Oh, 100%. I only picked up Final Fantasy VII because I was like, this must be good. There's 4 discs in it. Sold. That was literally it.
You need to make your money go as far as possible. 4 discs? Oh, my goodness.
And I think I only made it to the first one. I don't think I ever made it past it. I was like,
did you play the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets game?
Yeah.
That one was good.
I played all of them apart from the last 2. Which turned into a third-person shooter, but we'll get to those later. But yeah, I loved running around Hogwarts. I thought that was my favourite part, and I just thought it was a very well done game. And it was just like, and what I used to, as a Harry Potter purist, I liked that Peeves was in it, and I was like, because he was like erased from the films, and there'd be all these like races with him, and I was like, oh look, that's how the books were meant to be, man. Because I was a loser.
Oh yeah.
What are your memories then?
I grew up on Pokemon, so I had no interest in a PlayStation for a while. It was all Pokemon until, you got hooked. I got hooked into WWF back in the day with Stone Cold, The Rock, and all those. And then a kid down the road from me had a PlayStation, had like SmackDown versus Raw, where you could be the wrestlers and fight the other wrestlers. I went, I want that. So I got the PS1, the slim version, on the cheap second hand. Is that the one you got?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, because when you said you got it for your birthday, I was like, ooh, it's an expensive gift for a kid.
Yeah. No, it was when I was like 9 or 10.
I think I was around then. I got I just play the Royal Rumble just over and over again. I created my own wrestler. He was 7 feet tall. He towered over everyone else, and his finishing move was, a choke slam where he would grab them and jump. It was like the old Big Show choke slam.
Oh yeah,
he would jump and slam. It was like, oh, look at my tower of. Little did I know I'd grow up to be 5'8" and not 7 foot tall. Childhood dreams dashed. I didn't play much other than the SmackDown and the wrestling games. I didn't play a couple of the Harry Potter games, but I was mostly on the Pokemon grind for the PS1 era.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think I sort of dabbled based on whatever I saw in the shop. Like, I picked up Tomb Raider. That was a sad day because I picked it up. I was so excited. You know when you used to read the manual? I used to get the game and sit in the car and read the manual on the way home because obviously I didn't want to waste time at home. So that was really fun. I was so excited to play it. I got home and my dog, at the time, Misty, best dog ever, she for some reason bit the SCART lead. And that was the bit that plugged into the TV, for those of you who are too young to know what a SCART lead is. It's like a HDMI cable, but not HD. And we just couldn't play. And I was like, Misty, why have you done this to me? It was like tragedy. Because I was just like staring at it like, we can't play it.
I do miss the days of you'd be sitting in the backseat of the car just poring over the manual and your mind is running away from you with the possibilities of what it could be.
Yeah.
I miss that.
And the other thing I've just remembered, because back in those days as well, you had to just beat the game and you couldn't go on the internet to ask for help. So many games I didn't complete because I just didn't know how to get past a certain section. Like, do you have any that come to mind? Because I have quite a few that never managed to get past.
I played nothing but games for children. Tomb Raider is tough.
Yeah, I never got past the second level. I was like, what? Jumping? I don't know how to do this. It was like in a cave, so I never saw any of the stuff that happened. There was this... Oh, do you remember the film Dinosaur? It was like... it was like a CGI thing with the dinosaurs at the extinction, and I bought that, and because it was a movie tie-in, I had no idea how to get past, like, a load of it. And then I remember looking it up one day when we did have the internet far in the future, and it was like the easiest thing ever, and I was like... But I used to play games over and over again and hope that one day inspiration would strike and you'd be like, oh, I know how to do it. But sometimes it just never did. Yeah, I had a lot of those games. Also, shout out to Pop Star Maker. That was a game where you pretended to be a pop star and you made music, and I loved it. And I had a band called Inner Spin, and you had to sort of manage the band. They would send you emails and stuff, and they'd be like, Kelly's really upset because she didn't get to do this. And you have to be like, oh, for God's sake, Kelly. And like, sort it out. And then you'd like put the tracks together, put the music together, and it's like that. Oh, and then you would perform it live, and then you'd go on the John Lemon show. See what they did there. It was very good. You had to make albums and... See, this is the kind of rubbish I played. While everyone else was playing Metal Gear Solid and all like the good stuff, there's me making a pop star thing and playing Quack Attack, the Donald Duck game.
Oh my goodness! What this all sounds like shovelware that you're playing.
I even had the Stuart Little game. Exactly. I didn't know. I was a dumb kid. I also had Rayman 2, and Rayman Rush. I loved Rayman Rush. I was on that thing all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, I just remembered Theme Park World.
Of course.
I love that. Did you ever play that?
No.
Oh my god, I used to play that all day. Oh, and then this guy across the road, he wanted to borrow it, and I gave it to him, and he gave me Simpsons Wrestling instead. And he was like, oh yeah, just come to my house and get the game back from my grandma. When I knocked on his door, he didn't live there.
Oh.
Never got the game back.
What a bastard, huh?
I know, right? Find you, insert name, redacted. So those are my memories.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, definitely much more insightful than me. I would have nothing for the PS1. I even was playing PC games, SimCity. That was my jam. But
wow.
Definitely lacking in the knowledge. Let's move on to the best-selling console in video game history, or just history in general. The PS2, released in the year 2000. 155 million consoles sold. It actually is only slightly ahead of the Nintendo. Now, some of the way these numbers are calculated, I feel is a bit disingenuous, because the Nintendo DS family has sold 154 and little handhelds. But like, that's multiple DSs, right? Or like the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color can sometimes be joined together. But either way, best-selling console in history. I have the top 5 best-selling games. Care to take a guess?
Yeah. Oh, now PS2, I feel like I'm more hazy on this than before. What would be the best PS2 games ever sold? Again, I had a lot of movie tie-ins. I hadn't really reached my full potential yet in the gaming world, as I'm stalling for time, clearly, trying to think. I can't... Is there more Gran Turismo games? There must be. What are we on, like 3 or something?
Yeah, Gran Turismo 3 is the second best-selling game on the PS2 with 14.9 million copies sold. And just to put you out of misery, the third best-selling game is Gran Turismo 4 with 11.7 million units sold.
Who is buying these? Clearly a lot of people, just not us.
It was the best, I don't know, like it was the juggernaut in the PS1, juggernaut in the PS2. Even today, they still sell a lot of units. All right, that means
surely
that leads 3 other games on the PS2. Think of like big games.
I think I know. All right, I thought deep in my soul, and I was like, hang on, it's got to be like San Andreas or something. Like
bingo, the number 1 best-selling game on the PS2 is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, 17.3 million sold, and also to put at number 4 is Vice City with 9.8, which I thought would be. I didn't realize San Andreas outsold Vice City by that much.
Oh, it was a whirlwind, that game.
It's almost double.
Yeah.
And then rounding out the top 5 are Final Fantasy X, 8.5 million. So what's fascinating to me is that in the PS1 it was Final Fantasy and Gran Turismo were kind of taking all the spots. And then in the second generation it's Gran Turismo and Grand Theft Auto. You can see why Sony spent so much time banging on about the new Gran Turismo, even though I don't care, I'm not going to play it. But for me, when it comes to PS2 and memories, it is Vice City is a seminal game for me. Final Fantasy X was my first ever... I never knew turn-based RPGs are on console. So I was, like I told you, playing Pokemon the whole time. So then when I booted up Final Fantasy X, and I was like, oh, it's like Pokemon, but with real people. Real people stand there and you tell them to attack and they attack. Oh, this is fantastic. Where has this been all my life? I'm maturing. I'm 9, 10 years old now. I'm maturing beyond Pokemon and I need a real game. Final Fantasy X was a big one for me. So many hours in Vice City. God of War. That was one of those, like you talk about the taking your leaflet or the pamphlet. First of all, I got the game way, way too young. I somehow convinced my parents it was educational. Greek mythology. So then reading the guidebook or the booklets on the way home from, like, that's just, it's so well put together, and you begin to almost imagine the adventure you're going to have, and booting up the game and these glorious CGI cutscenes that blew my mind. The blood was far too realistic for a child like me. So many good memories. What about you?
So I still hadn't transitioned out of the old, tie-in, so I hadn't played like God of War and stuff then. So it was pretty much, my brother bought the PS2. So this was like, I think, because I got the PS1 when I was like 9 or 10, but he got the PS2 for one of his birthdays because, it was quite late. I was like 10, like 2000 or 1999. So we didn't have the PS1 for that long. So he gets it, and he gets it with Vice City because we went to our cousin's house and we played GTA 3 and we were like, what is this? So then he's like, oh yeah, I got the PlayStation with Vice City, which is like the other one. So that was my main memory, was like playing that, playing the GTA games, playing more of the Harry Potter games, bought all of those. This is when I got really into, me and my brother got into wrestling. So now this is when we started playing all the wrestling games. So we had every single one that came on PS2. Continued playing all the Crash Bandicoot games because I was a loyalist. So I wanted to, even though some of them were awful, I still stuck with the program. To be honest, it was only really the last one and maybe some of the middle ones. So, there was a lot of Crash Racing that I enjoyed. So, but this is the time when I was at like secondary school, and I got out an old diary the other day. I only wrote a diary for like 3 months. And I wrote something like, was so bored, so had to play the PlayStation. I suppose it was okay. So I feel like I must have been coming out of like, I liked doing it as like a thing. It wasn't something that I did a lot, is the impression I get. Because that's why I was like, I have hazy memories of the PS2. I don't have as fond memories as a lot of people do. I just have those main games.
Yeah, you weren't as much into gaming at the time?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it was just an age thing. Because I was like going to school, hanging out with friends, doing that type of thing. So it became just something to do at the weekend.
Yeah.
Rather than something I truly was like, this is something I love.
Yeah, so it used to be way more sociable, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and then the PS3 happened, which we'll get to, and it was like, woo! But,
friends, what are those?
Yeah, I don't know
I
them
have Nathan
anymore.
Drake. I don't need anyone else.
Yeah, so that's my main memories, I suppose. Oh, and like playing some multiplayer games with like my brother and sisters and stuff like that. Oh, so with the GTA games, I had this very hardcore rule. So being the older sibling,
Okay.
I was the one that would play the games probably first and foremost. My save file was always the top one because you had to like share save files in one memory card. So
Yep.
I was like, I'm the older sister. I will be always save slot 1. Anybody save over that, you're in trouble. People did save over it. A lot of trouble. I think someone saved over. Oh, yeah! Someone saved over my GTA San Andreas file. Distraught. And I had to get my... So I think I told someone at school, and they were like, don't worry, my brother, he's like really good at the game. He can get you back to where you are really quickly. I was like, oh, thank you. So he went and got me back to where I was. Anyway, so I used to play the missions, and they would watch me. And then they would get stuck on the missions. They'd be like, oh, Nathan, can you do the mission for me? Because I can't do it. And I'd be like, I would like to see you attempt it. Because nobody taught me how to do the mission.
You're so cruel.
Myself. I know. So I would watch them, and then I would assess whether I should help them or not, based on their try. A lot of them were the racing missions they were really bad at. They were like, oh, Lucy, I'm just really bad at it. And I was like, fine, I'll do it for you. But know that when you complete the game, you didn't really.
Oh, God. Awful.
I know. Although my brother did complete Crash Bandicoot 3 for me, but we won't delve into that. Yeah, so it was mainly playing a lot of GTA with my brother and sisters, just mucking about, doing the cheats. Yeah, good times.
I never finished Vice City back in the day. It was literally just get the 6-star wanted level, cause mayhem, and then just stop playing. It's like, oh, well, I'm good.
Yeah.
It was one of those times when I realised that, hey, the 80s music my parents have been listening to and I hate because I associate it with them, turns out is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I used to love doing the taxi missions, just listening to Flash FM like over and over again. That was like a perfect day for me. It was like, I'm just going to drive around.
Favourite radio station in Vice City?
Oh, it's Flash FM. I have it on my MP3 player with adverts.
Mine is the public access radio. With
what's that?
The one where it's Maurice Chavez. He does interviews with people, and they're always crazy.
The talking station.
Yeah, that was my favourite.
No! I remember I had this little like talk boy. Do you remember that? It was like a cassette tape. You recorded yourself and you could go fast or slow. So I was so taken by Vice City and the soundtrack that I would get the talk boy and I would sing Video Killed the Radio Star, but I would do the man's voice in slow and the woman's voice in fast, but I would try and like pace my own voice so that it sounded like I could continue. And I was like, Video Kill. I was such a list. But yeah, a lot of days just playing that really, and all the ones, yeah. I got stuck on the game called Primal. Do you remember Primal? It was a weird
sort
game.
of.
Yeah, again, I think it came with the PlayStation. We had to buy Vice City like 3 times, by the way, because the disc. Oh my god, did you ever have problems with the discs on PS2? Like
yeah, and you do all these things. You try to wipe it. You try and One point I read somewhere online, this is the wild west of the internet, where someone said,
Oh yeah.
if you spray, what is it? If you spray, that stuff you use to to shine wood, you spray it on wood to clean the wood. So if
Yeah.
you spray that, it heals the disc. So I just ruined a disc with just squirting that and scrubbing it. Turns out it didn't fix anything; it made it worse.
Oh wow. So we tried toothpaste. That seemed to be okay. Peanut butter. That worked quite well. Those are the things that we had. But the worst one that we did, which was disgusting, was spitting on the disc, like properly. Like I remember being like, "Wah!" It was so gross. We were like, "We needs to work," and we had like certain ones that were the trouble games. They'd be like, "Right, who's going to do the job this time?" I'll do it. I was like trying to really clean that. Does it work? Yeah, it works.
Quick shout out got to be made to Ratchet and Clank on the PS2. Ratchet and Clank, and then Ratchet and Clank 2 on the PS2, which is my favorite in the series. I played through that game probably 6 or 7 times. Because you can do challenge mode after you beat the game, and then you could do challenge mode, and then you could do another challenge mode on top of the challenge mode, and another one. I had everything maxed out. I would just go through that game endlessly. So definitely one of my fondest memories as well. We shall move on.
Did you ever play Jack and Daxter? Sorry, well, we're both big Naughty Dog fans, so that's why I'm curious. Did you ever play Jack and Daxter? 'Cause
No,
that's my blind spot.
No, never played.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like if you pick Ratchet and Clank or you pick Jack and Daxter, but rarely would people do both.
Yeah, I did neither, so I just stuck with Crash. I was like, I don't care.
Oh yeah, that was like the trifecta. Well, Crash was on the decline because his games were getting pretty bad, and Jack and Daxter was definitely on the incline. Okay, we move on to, I think, your favorite console, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
The PS3. Okay, let me bring up my notes.
Stat me.
Okay. Only 87 million consoles sold. Huge disappointment. Do you remember the early years of the PS3 when there was so much talk of, this is not good?
Yeah. And people being that, like, people in actually the industry being like, I'm not buying a PS3, I'll just use the one at work, because it was like that on the incline. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Top 5 games. Any guesses?
Ooh, okay, I'm going to say Uncharted 2.
Uncharted 2 is the 5th best-selling game with only 6.5 million.
Okay, I'm going to go for another big hit that I think could be there. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Wow, that was big in the day. I didn't even... Assassin's Creed 2.
Maybe if it was multi-platform, I'd say Modern Warfare sold more on 360 than PS3.
Oh, yeah.
Because you Xbox Live and getting into Twist. What was your other one?
Assassin's Creed 2.
No Assassin's Creed.
Interesting. Those are big. So what am I missing? Last of Us has got to be there. I forget it's such a big space of time.
Yeah, Last of Us is the number 3 best-selling game with 7 million sold. It probably sold just as much on the PS4 and the remaster version.
Nice. I saw your face light up. Obviously, I know you're a big Last of Us fan. And then, of course, it's got to be the juggernaut that is GTA 5.
GTA 5, 29.5 million sold. It is more than the next 3 games combined.
Whoa. Yeah,
so
I'll give you. That never stops selling. Yeah.
I'll round out the list. There's number 2, Gran Turismo 5.
Oh, obvious. Oh, God,
11.9 million sold. And then number 4, which is shocking to me, outselling Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, with 6.6 million sold compared to Uncharted 2's 6.5.
I feel like a lot of people jumped on Uncharted 3 for whatever reason. Like, they heard the good news.
I think that everyone heard about how good Uncharted 2 was, and off the back of that, Uncharted 3.
Yeah.
Even though in kind of like years since, we're all kind of like, Uncharted 3 was okay. They faked Sully's death again.
Yes.
That was a weird one.
It could be the multiplayer as well, because they really stepped it up, and that became a big part of Uncharted 3, and it became free to play eventually, so I think it could be that.
I have some stats about... never mind. I won't. I got a thing planned later on. I'll let you.
Okay.
PS3. I know it's a favourite console. Come on, tell me, what are your fondest memories of the PS3?
Oh, my God, we'll be here all day.
Go on, we got time. I got another pint after this.
Nice. I feel like this is when I became who I am today, the PS3. It sort of moulded me. It changed. This is when I think of gaming didn't just become a thing I did at the weekend just to pass some time. It became the thing that I was really passionate in at all aspects, like the business, how games are made, playing them, the whole thing. I think the real game changer as well was the fact the online. I suddenly was connected to people and could play games with them. That was like the main thing I used to do a lot. And so I have a lot of fond memories of just playing Uncharted 2 to the stupidest hours of the night, just with these people from America. And it was just like, I'd like be excited. I'd wake up in the morning, I was like, I can't wait to play Uncharted 2 with my friends. I'd look up online how to get better at the game, because I just wanted to be like, because I was awful, but these people still played with me. I was just like, but I couldn't wait. So it's like, and these are all like my favourite games. We'll get to this when we get to the PS4, because I have like thoughts on the PS4, but everything I love comes from the PS3. Like Uncharted, Last of Us, Dark Souls, Red Dead Redemption. There's just so much good stuff that started here and has just like sent me off. So that's my overall just gushing of the PS3. If I was going to say any other memories, I'll
and the online was free back in the PS3.
Yeah.
Remember, like, being able to just play online, and it was like no big deal. You'd try stuff out, you wouldn't try stuff out.
Yeah.
I miss those days. It's funny, like, you know myself, definitely Uncharted 2 is... I still prefer Uncharted Drake's Fortune than the other 2 and 3. I just like the setting more. It's bright, colourful. It's also kind of one of those moments of this is a next-gen game when Drake is rolling through the water and his clothes get wet and then they gradually dry off. That great moment of when you come in to the... like it's the Amazon jungle and there's a German U-boat.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is a true adventure. I just loved all that. The Last of Us, obviously, probably my favourite game of all time. I think I got about 8 or 9 playthroughs in it at this point. I have a huge soft spot for Resistance Fall of Man. Because I don't know about you, I bought the PS3 launch week. Myself and my brother pooled our money together. €300 each, which I think is about £240 each. How was the PS3 selling for in England?
Oh, it was something ridiculous. It was like 70, no, it's not 70 quid, 700 or something. It was like close to that, I think.
Pounds?
Or, no, it can't have been. Maybe it's more like 599. I didn't buy it at launch, so you might have to like fact check me. But I remember when I heard about it being like, whoa, that's so much money. Yeah,
€600. I got Resistance Fall of Man. I've been following it closely, and once I knew it was Insomniac, the creators of Ratchet and Clank, they're going to bring all these crazy imagination when it comes to weapons to a alternate timeline war game. It's like where World War II never happened. Instead, we got invaded by really hostile aliens, and you got to go out there and fight them. Yeah. That was a jaw-dropping game in terms of like visuals. Also, I think that was the transition from 4:3 aspect ratio to widescreen from the PS2 generation to... It was the first time getting wireless controllers.
Oh, yeah.
My brother and I would... when you're kids, you're so lame. You do dumb stuff. I would stand in the sitting room, and my brother would take the controller, and he would run out into the street, and then just, fiddle on the thumbsticks to make sure stuff is happening. And I'd be shouting out the window, yeah, it still works.
Yeah.
Go further.
No way.
I played Resistance Fallen Man online because it was free. Why not? And I was good, Lucy. It's the only online multiplayer game I've ever been good at. Nice. Because unlike a Modern Warfare or Call of Duty where it's 2 or 3 shots and you're dead, Resistance, you need to shoot them for about 4 or 5 seconds before they're killed. So if you're shot first, you have a chance to turn around. And if you're accurate enough at going for the headshots, you can kill them before they can kill you, even though they snuck up on you. So I like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Actually, that's funny because when we first got the PS3, we didn't have like the wireless internet, so we didn't. Oh, yeah, we just didn't, did we? So we used to like go online, and then one of our neighbours called Netgear would come online, and they didn't have a password, so we worked out that if we connect to Netgear, so we'd be like, Netgear's online, come on, Netgear's online, and then we'd like play GTA 4 online or SmackDown vs Raw 2009 or whatever one we had, and they'd be like, oh, Netgear's not online anymore. Okay, it was good while we had. Alright, until next time. That's what we used to do until we suddenly got it. But actually, on the day I got my PS3, I had no games, so I remember I unpacked it, I plugged it all in, and me and my brother looked at the menus, and I was like, cool, what do we do now? And he was like, do you want to plug the PS2 back in? Yeah, right.
Wait, so then what was your first PS3 game?
It was GTA 4 and SmackDown vs Raw 2009, so I had to wait till Christmas to get the game.
Oh, God.
There was only 2 days. So
Oh, sorry,
like,
yeah, your birthday is, yeah.
But it was quite funny to be like, yeah, I guess we'll reconvene at Christmas then. All right, bye.
Look at that cross-media bar action. Oh, it's slick.
We milked the menus for so long. We were just like, look at it. Oh, it's so amazing. But yeah, so many big games from that generation. And also, you forget how much, like, what a length of time it spanned.
Yeah. That was 2006, and then the PS4 wasn't until 2013, so that's 7 years.
So it was a big chunk of our lives, like, especially for you if you had it at launch. That's even longer than me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I still have that fat PS3. Yeah.
Mine got stolen.
How? How do you steal something that large?
I know. So this PS3, it was like the freaking holy grail of my life. I used to dust it every day because I was like, it's a beautiful object, but it gets very dusty. It was my ritual. I went on holiday and I remember being like, goodbye PS3. I was on the holiday and I was like, oh, I can't wait to get home and dust my PS3. Oh, literally. And then I come back home and we've been burgled and they only stole the PS3 and all my games. And I was like, I've never felt so like, obviously now there's been more things in my life, but at that time it was like, oh my God. Yeah. Like my whole world. The only thing I didn't steal was the Guitar Hero controller because that was around the corner. But everything else, it was just gone, and I couldn't believe it. And I had to, like, obviously call the police and everything. And they sent me a slim PS3. And yeah, so I got a 120 gig PS3 because they didn't sell the fat ones anymore. But by this point, so yeah, that was a devastating moment.
Oh, but then you couldn't dust. You don't dust the slim PS3. It's not needed. So there's
no. But then I realised that actually it's better that way. Don't have to do the housework on it. But yeah, I had to replay all my games again because all my saves were gone. And I think it happened. So, of course, we haven't spoke about this is when trophies like showed up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because I actually, if you remember, Uncharted used to have medals.
Yeah.
They'd have 1,000 medals. I wonder what that was in reference to.
Oh.
Yeah. I got all 1,000 medals in Drake's Fortune. And then they went, oh, by the way, we have trophies now. And here's a trophy pack. Like, do it all again, Adam. Do every single thing again. And I did. I absolutely did. So worth it.
I had the same thing. Yeah, because that was weird because the games came out and you didn't have them. And so when my PlayStation was stolen, so I remember like Fallout 3, GTA 4, I think maybe Drake's Fortune, maybe not. Like I all started having these trophies from halfway through the game because I'd started playing the game before trophies. And I just remember being like, Fallout 3, I'm never going to start the game again. But then it was stolen. So I was like, hang on a minute. Now I can get those trophies, and GTA 4 as well. Although that's messed up for some reason. GTA 4, I had to keep playing the beginning of the game every time I loaded it up because it kept saying my save was corrupted. But then I could load it and it was fine. So every time it was like, doop-boo, 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 the people in the boat. And I was like, and then it was like, NB, please take me to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. So yeah, that was like a big time for us because that's when it became like a thing. So what is your first trophy? Do you know what it is?
It's probably my first platinum is Madden. My first trophy is probably in an Uncharted game. We're just like, I'm playing it again anyway. I think I played the Uncharted Drake's Fortune maybe over the years 10 or 12 times. Of course with the remastered version as well. So yeah, I think it was probably an Uncharted game. What about you?
I think it was GTA 4. I think it's like Let Sleeping Rockstars Lie or something, which is an online trophy. That was quite a cool one because that trophy is like a trophy that you like, it spreads in a weird way. So you have to kill someone that's killed someone that worked at Rockstar. So like person A kills the Rockstar, then person C and D kills person A, and then person E and F has to kill person D and C, and it sort of spreads. You know what I'm trying to say? And then I thought, oh, that's quite cool. So I'm pretty sure that's my first.
Was this also around the time you started making YouTube videos? Because you did a couple of guides for Uncharted games, didn't you?
That wasn't until the PS4. But in this time, I did remember thinking I would like to do this, but I just didn't know how because I didn't have the equipment. And I did get a little camcorder. I remember being like, hi, this is Lucy here. And I was like filming the screen, but obviously no one's ever seen that. And I remember playing like Fallout 3 and be like, oh my God, it's a Deathclaw. And then thinking like, I remember doing the stealth things in Uncharted 2 on PS3 and be like, I would love to be able to do this on YouTube. And I remember typing on the Naughty Dog forums like, hey, I've been trying to like stealth these sections. Does anyone know how to do X, 1, Y section? And people are like, I don't think it's possible. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, interesting. And I was like getting all the information. So that's part, I guess, of the PS4 journey. But yeah, PS3 was just simply just playing all the games, really got into my single-player games, got into, obviously, online, making friends. A friend of mine who I still talk to this day, I've known him since I was 18. So that's like
Cool.
12 years, and we still kept in touch. And he's in America. So I almost feel that's a big testament to just, like, the friendships that we made during that time.
Yeah,
And,
so many late nights in Uncharted lobbies, just chatting
Yeah.
away.
Oh, yeah, we used to do survival and just chat. And just because it was like autopilot. You're just like, survival? Yeah, let's do it. And then we're just like, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I loved the PS3 dearly. And I was very sad to see it go. My PS3 did break. Have you had any of your consoles break?
No, because I take care of my consoles, Lucy. No, I think I've been quite fortunate.
Oh, so we had the PS2 break on us at least twice. We bought about 3 or 4 PS2s in our lives. One of them, it didn't play DVDs correctly, and I didn't realise this, so I watched Lilo and Stitch, and for some reason the whole of the film was in black and green. But I just
thought that was
the
what
way...
the movie was.
Yeah, so it was a very interesting colour choice. Like, no, you didn't watch it correctly. And my PS3, the disc eject didn't work, and so I had to go to the shop and get it mended. And I was about like 19 at the time. And I was like, oh, hey, or maybe even older than that. And I said, oh, my PlayStation. They're like, your PlayStation? I was like, yeah. And they're like, aren't you a bit old for this? And I was like, hold on. He's like, don't kids just play this? And I was like, oh my God, no. And then he did the thing that upset me most in my life at that time. So, the distro didn't work. So he goes onto my profile, my sacred profile, and puts in Call of Duty Black Ops and plays it. And the trophies appear on my freaking profile. Luckily, he didn't earn any, but at that point, you couldn't delete trophies.
You couldn't.
I remember
He violated your console, is what he did.
Yes, not only did he disrespect me for playing games, but then he did this to me. I honestly wanted to complain, but I thought it was very, very, very page. Like, what are you doing on my profile? So yeah.
I like the idea of you running around the shop like, you can play this game, but you can't play this game.
Yeah, play a good game, damn it, or a game that I might play. I don't even own Call of Duty. God.
Could you imagine berating him about what you've done to your trophy collection? Your digital. If he thought you were childish before.
Yeah. God, thank God I'm not someone who wants to have 100% completion in everything, because that would have tipped me over the edge. Don't you know I've got 100% completion? Now I have to buy Call of Duty Black Ops. I have to play it and get the platinum in it. Do you know what you've done, sir? Yeah. So.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, I talk about the PS3 days. That I think also because we're both the same age, we're both 30, and that was us. Like the PS3 was 2006, so we were 16 up until like 23. So that's kind of like a pretty important period in life. Yeah,
that's why I always feel like it molded me as a person and where I am today. Yeah.
The PS4, 2013, it came out. Some thought this would be the last console generation. Do you remember the talk about that?
Whatever.
Yeah, the idea was that after the PS3 undersold and after because the 360 came out a year before the PS3, so that was a long console generation for 360. And the word was that, listen, console sales are down. We're all going to be streaming stuff anyway. Do we really need consoles? This PS4 Xbox One generation is going to be the last console generation. Say goodbye to your stupid boxes. The future is streaming. Little did they know, the PS4 went on to sell 115 million consoles. Top 5 best-selling games, Lucy.
Oh, for the PS4. This is hard.
You will not believe number 1.
Destiny.
No.
Gran Turismo 7?
For the first time, Gran Turismo is not part of the top 5.
Oh. Oh, it's GTA 5 again, isn't it? Of course it is!
20 fucking million sold.
Wow.
It sold 30 million, well, 29.5 on the PS3, and then 20 million on the PS4. And then a PS5 version has been announced, so they'll probably sell another 10 million there.
They'll never have to make a GTA. Cause my theory on this is that every couple of years, the new generation, they're like 10, but then they're 13, and they're like, Grand Theft Auto, this is cool, because we were.
Yeah.
And so it happens, the next generation will always come to it and find it, and that's who's buying it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I think at the time when GTA 5 came out, I didn't care for the art style. I thought it wasn't realistic enough, but it was sort of stylized, but it wasn't really. But now, even though the game is, like 6 or 7 years, it still looks alright.
Yeah.
So they've picked kind of a very clever art design choice.
It's a little bit janky, the characters move a little bit in there. Okay, well, it's weird as well because PS4 is still like alive. So now
that number of 115 sold is at the moment, but it's still selling, trickle down a little bit. So that number could rise. Go on, the next.
I'm going to say Last of Us Part 2.
No. I think The Last of Us Part 2 sold, I think it's 7 million. But that's that's so far away from the top 5. The PS4 is just a juggernaut.
Yeah, there's so much to pick from. Let me think. So we've got GTA. Is it going to be a first party? Uncharted 4?
Number 2 best-selling game with 16 million. Now, I have actually a bunch of stuff here when I was alluding to online. I got a bunch of little numbers here about Uncharted 4. I'll get to that once we finish the rest of the top 5.
Okay.
Harkening back to you being annoyed about this guy putting a certain series into your console.
There's a Call of Duty?
There's 2.
2?
So at number 3 is Call of Duty Black Ops 3 with 15 million sold. Wow. And at number 5 is World War II at 13.4 million sold.
Oh, wow. Gosh,
rounding out the top 5 is another Rockstar game, Red Dead Redemption 2. 14.
Oh, I was thinking that, but I wasn't too sure how well that... I know it did well, but I'm not in the number scheme.
Yeah, I didn't think it did that well either.
Wow.
Alright, so do you want to hear some fun numbers about Uncharted 4?
Yes, please.
Okay. I know. Once I found out all this, I was like, I gotta tell Lucy about this.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think what it could be.
So, while Uncharted 4 has sold 16 million, do you know how many people have actually played it?
What, so there's like a bunch of people that bought it and haven't actually played it?
No, there's a bunch of people who got it on PS Plus, or it's part of the PlayStation collection if you get a PS5.
Oh,
so could you guess how many people have actually played it?
So how many bought it, sorry?
16 million.
25 million?
37 million people have played Uncharted 4. Here's, it's just so. That's also, we were like, the fourth one?
Yeah.
So here's some more numbers that Naughty Dog put out, I think, last year. When in relating to the multiplayer, 'cause I'd never played the Uncharted multiplayer. It's just not for me. So 13.3 million multiplayer players, which is like 1 in 3. You kind of go, okay, now I understand why they keep putting it in the games. Yeah. Why The Last of Us Factions was a big deal. Why they're taking so long for Last of Us Part 2's version of Factions. 9.5 million players used an accessibility option.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that is, 1 in 4 people have toggled, I think that's one of the reasons why Naughty Dog are so intent on creating as much accessibility in the games. I think it's one of the reasons why The Last of Us Part 2 does not have a difficulty trophy tied to the platinum. The idea that anyone, regardless of whatever physical element they might have, can get the platinum. And then they have, the permadeath and the grounded as separate trophies not tied to the platinum.
I think I remember some people on Uncharted 3, they would turn on the blind colour options because they found that the blue, like even if they didn't have colour blindness, they found the blue was easier to spot anyway because it was red and green back in back in those days. So some people just turn it off; they just think it's like actually has better contrast, which it probably does. So
some more numbers. No, I like it. Do you know about the lemur in the market?
Oh, I do know about the lemur in the market.
I didn't, but 9.8 million players do.
No, hang on, you have to know about the lemur in the market. You've got the platinum, surely.
Do you have to play with the lemur for a trophy?
Yeah, the lemur comes and jumps on you, eats your apple, and you're like, hey, that's my apple.
Oh, it's the app. Okay, sorry. So 9.8 million players did that, including me, but I forgot.
There you go.
7.5 million players played Marco Polo.
Oh,
it was like a little soft spot. Ah, nice.
Yeah. 2
million climbed to the very top of the clock tower. I imagine those are only people out for the trophy.
Yeah.
12 million players hit all the targets in the attic with the toy gun at the start of the game. I was one of them.
Yeah, me too.
And finally, only 2 million people, which I think is a tragedy. Only 2 million people took a photo of Sully.
Oh, I loved that trophy. I don't you love it when you do a trophy by accident. That was one of the ones I was like, let me just see if I can do it. And I was like, oh my god, I got a trophy. But my screenshot is black, unfortunately. Like the actual phone, like when it took it, it's just a black screen. I'm like, oh.
Oh, yeah. For me, PlayStation 4 memories. Mm-hmm. The last was remastered. No, hang on. I'm going to bring up... I think this was probably the most amount of games I ever played on a console because...
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think for yourself, now you're getting into the making the videos as well.
Yes.
So, Ghost of Tsushima, Metal Gear Solid 2, the South Park games. As a South Park fan, being able to walk around the town of South Park was a dream come true. I'm still holding out hope we'd get a proper Simpsons game at some point.
Oh my god, we didn't even talk about Simpsons Hit and Run back in the PS2. That was great.
That was a good game. I didn't play it a long time ago. But I'm just here on my PSN profile and it's just like so many...
Yeah.
Journey, Gone Home. It's like so much stuff. I played Beyond Good and Evil HD. Oh yeah, Beyond Good and Evil on the PS2. No, wait. That was PS3. Shoot, never mind. Yeah, Limbo on the PS4. Love that. Yeah, just so much. It gets endless. Horizon was good. I know you don't like Horizon. Yeah, just... I think I did more gaming on... This because also, you're 23. You're I'm post college. Sizable amount of these years unemployed or
Same.
doing odd jobs. I'm like, well, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that and I don't want to do this. It's like, what do you want to do? I don't know yet. So unemployment it is, mammy and daddy. I'm just going to play my video games and just pretend the outside world doesn't exist. For you though, fondest memories on the there's probably so many for you.
Well, this is the thing. I was playing with my brother before this, like trying to prepare my mind. We were doing, what game do you think of when I say PlayStation 1? Both of us were like, Crash Bandicoot 3, PlayStation 2, Vice City, PlayStation 3, Uncharted, PlayStation 4. Nothing came to my mind.
Not even the thing over your shoulder?
No, because I associate that with PS3.
Yeah.
And this is the problem I have with the PS4, which I think I'm going to go on record to say, my least favourite console, perhaps, after 2, which makes it my second. Not because it's bad, but because I don't have any real memories like those other games, because everything already existed before. Dark Souls, love it, started on PS3. Uncharted started on PS3. It's a lot of sequels on PS4.
Bloodborne?
Yeah, but I still associate that as the Souls genre.
That's actually a good point of what was brand new.
Horizon that you mentioned.
Ghost was brand new. But you're not too chuffed about that, or you're not too thrilled about it. You're like, it's a fine game, but it's not kind of a showstopper for you.
Yeah, I mean, I really like it. That did cross my mind, like, today when I was thinking. I was like, Ghost, but I'm like, it's not it wouldn't appear in a big top list of games for me that really impacted my life. And just when I look at the PS4, like, I had a great time with it. I very much enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it because of the legacy of the PS3. It's carrying over all those IPs, like Red Dead Redemption 2, phenomenal, love it. It's probably my favorite game.
Red Dead Redemption 1 is what started it, and that was on the PS3.
Yeah. And so my memories to them are tied more to the franchise than it is the actual console.
What about Detroit Become Human?
I do like that a lot, to be fair, but I still don't really feel like it's not in the same vein as Crash 3, Vice City, and Uncharted. It's not a foundational core of my being. If you were to build a house and each corner is a PlayStation console, that side is fallen down. There's nothing there that's not somewhere else. So this is a tough one. But I guess overall memories, like, this is like, I remember being like getting it and being very excited, but it did feel a bit like a continuation of the PS3 life. Like, it doesn't feel like a big change. Like, the other consoles felt like the change, whereas this was like, and also you could buy a lot of the PS3 games again on your PS4. So that's the thing. Like,
all the remasters.
Yeah. When I was looking at games, what did we play on PS4? We played Vice City on PS4. We played, but we played it on PS2. There's a lot of that happening, which also muddles the memories for me. But I guess, it's, playing Uncharted. Like, Uncharted 4 was one of the best memories of, like, my PS4, if I'm going to have to pick one. Because that, I was so hyped for that. Because I knew it was going to be, like, I was very excited for Uncharted 3. I remember being, like, all up in the hype for that. But this was, like, we knew it was going to be the end. Yeah. They told us, this is the end of Nate's story. And I was terrified of how they were going to end it. I was like, please don't mess it up. Please don't. I was like so worried of whatever's going to happen. And it was just like, I think this might be the first game I ever bought on pre-order, because I never pre-ordered anything.
Whoa.
I was like, I know I want to play this. I'm dropping the monies. And I got it on the day of launch, and I put it in. I remember being like, just blown away by those first 2 chapters, and just been like, oh my God. Like, you know that title sequence?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm seeing something I ain't never seen before.
Yeah.
I like a title sequence of like credits, like movie-esque. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. And then, of course, the way they end
the
the game is just, to me, perfect. And the epilogue is, it gives you a thing of, way, if we want to continue, we can continue. But it also gives the kind of satisfying, it's over, off. Yeah, it was just like the best ending to Nathan Drake's story. You could probably couldn't have thought of it yourself, or I couldn't have. But yeah, it was just like perfect.
Absolutely, I can't agree more. So that's, I mean, The Witcher 3 is the only game I can think of that was a new game that I ever played.
That's true, yeah.
Even though it's not new.
Well, it was a PC game before that, or
Yeah.
I think The Witcher 2 came to Xbox, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, and that was a big part. I enjoyed that a lot.
One of my fondest memories is playing BioShock Remastered.
See?
We didn't even talk about. I know have you never played BioShock, by the way?
I only played Infinite, and I didn't like it.
That's okay. The first one is glorious. Like the atmosphere of Rapture is, I could return there forever. Yeah, the PS4 is a funny one. I never really thought about it as a continuation of all these other IPs, and that very few. Insomniac's Spider-Man was new.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. God of War, like, while not being new, that was another big game that, I think that was the first game I ever played, and was like, now I'm playing a PS4 game. I didn't feel like I was playing a PS4 game before then. But yeah, I guess God of War, Spider-Man are my big highlights from, but I'm not really like into like Spider-Man that much, so that's why it hasn't really impacted my life. I was like, it's fun, I suppose. I like it.
We shall move on to the final console. This is one of the reasons why you're here, by the way, because I have nothing to contribute to this. The PS5 came out last year. Somehow, I still don't understand how consoles were put out last year. It just seemed like an impossible task.
Or games.
Yeah, I don't like.
Stop.
You're gonna take all that and then just move home with it and continue making the game? How?
Yeah. I don't understand.
No, not at all. It's not. Yeah, I don't get it. Despite the difficulties, it is the fastest selling console in history. To date, it has 8.6 million sold. I think Sony are hoping to sell 22 million per year.
Wow.
Which is just like staggering. So what, they would expect to get to 100 million in 5 years.
God.
just nuts numbers. So you have the PS5. You've had it around since around launch.
Yes.
How's it treating you? And what are some of the games that you think, this is a PS5 game?
Well, I guess, how is it treating me? I enjoy Luther. I call him Luther. Don't know why.
He's based after the guy from Detroit, isn't he? Yeah.
Just sort of watches over because he's so big, but he's always there to protect you. So he just stands as a guardian watching me. So far, it is still a little bit on the continuation. I don't know if I'll ever feel, I guess this is me, probably as a jaded person, whatever, I'm not sure if I'll ever feel how I felt about the PS1, PS2 or PS3 anymore with a console. I think those games are seminal to me because as a kid you couldn't buy games, so you would have your ones that you would play over and over again.
Yeah, you get like something for your birthday or something for Christmas, and that was,
Yeah. That's what you played, and you just, once you beat it, you would do it again. But now we have jobs, and we can be like, oh, let's play this game, move on to the next. We did it, platinum done. So that's why I want something for this generation to be the cornerstone. Like, I'm really hoping, I don't know what it will be, but I want something to make me feel like that, to be like, this is the PS5 game.
Yeah, and Sony
announced
announced that they have 25 exclusives in development, and they said half of which are new IPs.
Cool.
So there's hope that you could find that big, like, this is my PS5 game.
Like, when we do this video again in 30 years' time, and you ask me about the PS5, I want to be like, yes, this game was the game that I remember playing the PS5. You could only get that experience on PS5, and it defined the PS5. I'm expecting it to come out of, I don't know, hopefully, well, I guess, yeah, I suppose a first-party studio, just because they can really harness the power of the PlayStation. But, yeah, so far I like it. UI could be a bit better. I think there's still a ways to go, but that's the way it is with, consoles. They can update them now. As for games, Astrobot is still top tier. Like, I know it's mainly a tech demo, but I haven't played a game, not even Ratchet and Clank, which I had high hopes for, and I did like it, but it didn't give me the same vibes that I got from Astrobot in terms of what they were doing with the actual controller, which I was slightly disappointed with. But then I guess, I don't know, maybe they just didn't, like, they do very subtle things, like, that you would imagine, whereas Astrobot, like, when I went on the ice, like, there's the ice skating bit, I was like, this feels like skating on ice. It was, I couldn't imagine it, and I've not had that, oh my god, like, it, because a lot of the others are just, like, rumbling, or just, well, Returnal does a good job with, like, the controls and using them in an interesting way, but nothing has represented feeling to me the same way that Astrobot did, and it made me feel like a kid on Christmas. Like, I was sitting downstairs, cross-legged, just like, like, this is awesome. Like, imagine playing, like, Crash Bandicoot as a kid. This is what that felt like, again, like, playing Astrobot for, like, being a kid, and, like, discovering games for the first time, because you have to learn. Like, we've played games a lot. We know that you press this button, you go forward, blah, blah, blah. With Astrobot, it was like, no.
This
you have
is
to do
new.
other things. Yeah, and you have to, like, learn. And I was like, oh, okay, I supposed to do that. So that's still my big highlight. I'm looking forward to what's going to come down in the pipeline, like, and see. I think next year, because as a lot of the games still are, like, crossover from, like, PS4.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but when I heard God of War was going to be on PS4 as well, I just went, oh, why?
Yeah.
Because I'm playing through God of War now, because I'm doing a bonus episode about playing through it on Give Me God of War difficulty.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because the way I figured is, this is the new combat for the God of War games. I am, not to toot my own, I'm a master of the original trilogy and that combat. The fluid motion of it. The new God of War, it's tough, it's stiff almost at times, and I did not like it, so I played through the game on easy and got the platinum. And now with the new game coming out or in development, it's like, well, I gotta get good at this combat because this is the combat going forward. So I jumped in to Give Me God of War difficulty. I'm turning the corner on the combat.
Ooh.
But there are moments when you can tell there are, for example, limitations of the console. Anytime Kratos has to open a door, he kind of gets right up to it and he goes like, and then he opens it and they realize, oh, that's a quick little loading screen. They've zoomed in the camera so it's just the door. They can remove all the memory for the outside stuff and then load the room. Or if you go into an area and Kratos has to go through a little small crevice in between two rocks, like, oh, you're loading the next area. Yeah. If you're on the PS5, you don't have to do any of that. You don't need doors. Yeah. You can just run right through. You don't need to go through crevices. You can just run right through. So that's still going to be part of the new God of War game. It's like, it changes the design of the game, and I fear that it won't be a true PS5 game because of that, which is rather disappointing.
Yeah, the loading screens thing is something that I thought about the other day when I was lying in bed awake at night. I was just like, wow, I feel like such a spoiled little brat right now, because I haven't experienced a loading screen in such a long time. And it's something that you just take for granted when it's not there anymore. You're just like, cool. Like when I was playing Ratchet and Clank afterwards, I was like, wow, you go to another planet and you're like, there. Like, yeah, there's a little, like, the planet thing. But I was like, if them driving to the planet wasn't there, then it's not because it's, like, hiding a loading screen. Like, maybe it is. But it's part of the context of the story, like, just having that bit, like, come in. And it's, like, not that long. But there was, like, times where I would, like, play a game like Mass Effect and the loading screens are so long.
The
or
dreaded
Skyrim.
Elevators.
Yeah, and I would just pick up my phone and just scroll through Twitter, and then instantly I'm, like, not really paying attention anymore because my attention span is like this now. But because there is none of that, I'm just like, oh, no distractions. And so that's, like, a big thing that you don't think about the PS5 is doing to improve your life.
Yeah, I'm playing a bit of Horizon because I got the DLC for free when they put it up on the Stay at Home initiative. So when I start up the game, I click on the PlayStation, the icon on the PS4, and then I press continue, and then I walk away from the console and I make a cup of tea, and then I come back and like, oh cool, we're in the game now, because I can't sit there and watch that little bar just fill up for what seems like forever. I'm like, I can't do this. I've got to fill time something else. So you are a spoiled brat with your PS5.
I'm like, oh, loading screen, don't have time for this. But yeah, I hate those ones where it's just like, just staring into the void of time, waiting for things to load.
I was shocked. Fucking Vice City has a loading screen. Do you know when you start the game?
Oh my god, yeah!
Like, what? This is a PS2 game on the PS4. Why is there a loading screen? My younger brother was watching me play it. He went, "Wow, the loading screen's really quick." I said, "There shouldn't be fucking loading screen."
It's part of the vibe, all right? You load up GTA. They still have it in GTA 5 where they got that where you see all the thing. That's like you're playing GTA, when you're hearing the music, and that was when you hoped to God that your save file would work and it wouldn't go boom, and then you'd be back at the title screen like no, starting the game again.
Well, Lucy, thank you very much for joining me for this trip down memory lane between all the PlayStation generations. It's been, like, I kind of knew some of the stuff that are your highlights from following your channel over the years, but I did not know about the shovelware you were playing back on PS1.
I do want to do a video one time where I find, because again, I was a dumb kid, so I didn't put my discs back in the cases, so I've got a lot of discs that are really scratched, really broken, but I do still have a lot of them, so I would like to go through and just be like, this is the rubbish I played, because I just was dumb and didn't know. Like, Aladdin, stuff like that, just dumb stuff. And so that's why I feel like the PS3 is when I became a bit more of a seasoned veteran and why it holds a place in my heart. Because I never played Metal Gear Solid. I never played Twisted Metal. There's all these games that everyone was like, you never played this? And I was like, no, why would I? I don't know what it was.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining me, folks. Thank you, Lucy. And
Thank you. It's like a therapy session.
Yeah. All right. Bye, folks.
Bye.